Hello again, whiskey friends. Welcome back to Whiskey Riff Lounge. This is Kelsey. So we've been talking about the year of the rye, and we've been talking about all these great aged ryes, but there's a shelfer out there that I think is fantastic that not a lot of people talk about. I know people have drank this for a while, so today we're going to be talking about it, and that is the Old Forester Budget Rye, which is like 20 bucks right now, 100 proof rye. Now, this is a rye that we'll get into, but man, this is one that I keep always. It's sip it neat. You can make a cocktail out of it, but let's get into it in just a moment. So, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into this. We're going to pour this up. Now, this is just a new recent bottle that I got, so that's why it's not as full. I just finished off the one that I had. But for those guys who are afraid to get into rye, or you haven't really tried a lot of ryes and you're wondering which one you should start with, definitely Old Forester rye. Now, here locally for me, this one was here and then it was gone and now it's back. So this is my like daily rye that I would drink all the time. Let's get into the nose of this. Cheers, whiskey friends. So start off with the color of this thing. It's really nice. It's got a really golden color to it. Let's get into the nose. So right off, it's real sweet up front. It's a barely legal rye. A little bit of bubble gum. A little herbally, but not like you're thinking like mint or anything like that. Really up front, it's just really sweet and approachable. This is why I suggest this one along with Rittenhouse for under 25 bucks. It's sitting on the shelf everywhere. Should be anyway. Let's get into the tasting of this one. Man, for those of you who are afraid to try rye, this is the one that I'm telling you needs to be on your shelf. It's got just a little bit of rye spice, mid-palate. It's sweet up front with that barely legal rye. It's got a lot of corn in it. So it's still really relatively sweet for the bourbon drinker who's not really familiar with rye, but it's also 100 proof. So you stands up in a cocktail over ice, however you want to drink it. For me, we've been talking a lot about aged ryes, like 11, 12-year-old ryes. And there's some great 95 ryes out there for those years. But for me, as a bourbon drinker mainly, this is one that I can always go to and always sip on. Now, the other thing that I will say that Old Forester makes in the summer that I love to drink is just the mint julep. It's a liter bottle. Ethan Turk and I pretty much polished off one of these liter bottles of mint julep by Old Forester in an afternoon, just sitting outside when it was hot. But for those that haven't really tried this rye, of course, this is just 100 proof rye. This should be on just about every shelf you can find. Under 20 bucks typically, or right at that $20 mark. Let's go back in for another sip. Yeah, man, this is just really sweet up front, super approachable. Has a decent finish to it, even at 100 proof. That's why I say it can stand up in a cocktail. And actually, I think this is probably my favorite one to make a cocktail with an old fashioned or something like that, a Manhattan, whatever. This stands up really well, but it also has a lot of sweetness to it, which really does well for most people who aren't typically rye drinkers, or when they think of rye, they think of it being hot or spicy or something along those lines. But if you guys aren't or haven't tried this in a while, you need to pick this one back up. I mean, this is one that would be for me like that daily drinker if I wanted something rye that's super sweet, easy to drink, approachable. This is the one for you to get. Now, the weird thing about this year is that we've had so many incredible ryes, but nobody's talking about this particular rye. So I was like, let's do a review of it and kind of talk through it. So as you smell it, there's lots of fragrant. I keep getting bubble gum on this for tonight. I don't know if it's because I just smoked a cigar or what, but man, it's kind of like a bubble gum sweet. There's not a lot of complexity to this, but it's just really super approachable. Last sip. Yeah, everything is pretty much like front palate and mid. When you get to the finish, it does provide that overall kind of a little bit of a spice to it, but nothing like what people think of when they think rye. It's not piney, it's not spearminty. It's really super sweet up front, but it's also one that you can just drink and enjoy and go get another bottle. And for those of you who just collect bottles, I feel sorry for you because you're missing out on stuff like this that you could just be drinking every day. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I know it's a super short video, but like I said, if you haven't tried this, make sure you go out and get this bottle. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you hang out with us on Whiskey Wednesdays every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. 7 p.m. Central Time. And we will see you right back here at the Whiskey Riff Lounge.